We recently sat down with holistic nutritionist and fitness expert Yuri Elkaim.
Take a look. Our next guest has made it his mission to transform the lives of 10 million people by 2018.
Wow.
Yeah. And he's going to increase our energy and slim us down by battling his mortal enemy, toxins.
Toxins! Now, here to tell us about spring cleaning for our bodies is holistic nutritionist, fitness expert, and professor at the Super Nutrition Academy, Yuri Elkaim. Welcome to the show.
Great to be here, guys. Thank you for having
Battling
me.
toxins.
Yeah. It's a small feat, but we can do it.
Okay,
Yeah.
not such a small feat. Transforming the lives of 10 million people. How are you going to pull that off?
You know, sometimes we don't necessarily know how we're going to do something, but we just set the intention and it happens.
Okay.
So we've made some good progress so far, and I'm pretty optimistic that we'll make it happen. Yeah.
Well, what are you doing to transform these lives? What are you telling people?
Well, it's more about inspiring people with the message that they're in control of their lives, they're in control of their health. And really, I like to teach people how to fish as opposed to just giving them the fish so that they can have better conversations with their doctor, they can make better decisions at the food markets when they're grocery shopping. And it's all about, you know, if you're a mom or dad, you are the gatekeeper to your house.
That's true.
Right? So it's all about giving people their power back.
And one of the ways you can do that is start with a good foundation by detoxifying your body, do some spring cleaning inside first.
Yes.
So how do we spring clean our bodies?
Well, it's really twofold. We have to look at what are the problematic foods that are causing a lot of the issues, and we've got a couple of them here, and then looking at bringing more of the good in. And I like to approach things by let's get more good in, as opposed to just taking everything out. Because I think if we focus on getting more good in, then it naturally just kind of pushes all this stuff to the side.
Now, Yuri, detoxing has become really trendy, but
Yes.
does it actually work? I mean, everyone's always on a detox, always on a cleanse. Does it actually work, or is this just a passing fad?
So detoxification and cleansing are used interchangeably, but detoxification is something that our body goes through, all of the trillions of cells in our body go through 24 hours a day, 7 days a week,
Right.
without us even thinking about it. Cleansing is something we do to perhaps enhance that process.
Okay.
So whether or not we like it, it's happening, and it's a matter of, you know, are we supporting our body with the specific nutrients that it needs to facilitate that process, or are we clogging our systems down with like the wrong foods?
Well, that's
Okay.
where a lot of the controversy comes into play, because a lot of people say they're not either doing it right or they're having negative effects because they think they're cleansing their body and they're doing it wrong.
And some people say it's not even necessary because the body does it naturally.
Yeah, and I mean, there's definitely some truth to both of that, but the reality is that when you look at a lot of advanced stages of various diseases, cancer being one of the foremost of those, when somebody is terminally ill in the medical community, they say, okay, you can only do chemo and radiation, and good luck. A lot of people at that point seek out alternative treatments, and a lot of these alternative or integrative centers, one of their foundations is detoxification, because they know that if we can get a lot of the junk out, then the body's able to function as it's supposed to.
Now, let's talk about some of that junk.
Yeah.
Yes, we love this.
I see bread. I see bread.
Yes.
Now, is bread really junk, or can we have a little bit in moderation, or should we eradicate it completely?
Well, I'm all about moderation, and I understand
Okay.
that most of us have been brought up with bread and sandwiches, so the reality is that going cold turkey tomorrow is not feasible for most people.
No.
But I think in this case, if we're looking to really cleanse our body, let's look at removing some of the bad stuff coming in.
Okay.
And wheat bread is one of those things. And the reason I brought whole wheat bread today is because there really, in my mind, there's no difference between whole wheat, 12 grain, and white bread.
Really?
Everyone says that whole wheat is better than white bread
Yeah.
because white bread has clearly been processed,
Yes.
not wheat. So now you're telling me that this is just as bad?
So there is some truth to
Can't
that.
eat anything.
So white bread is more processed, right?
Right.
So
Okay.
there's less fiber, less nutrients. This has a little bit more of that, but the problem still remains that bread in general contains gluten, and we've probably all heard of gluten.
Yes.
Yes.
Very, very problematic compound in it's an anti-nutrient. It wreaks havoc in our intestines, it attacks the gut lining, and it makes a lot of people susceptible to allergies and potential autoimmune diseases and all sorts of nasty stuff. So that's one of the things that we really want to look at avoiding, and it also spikes our blood sugar.
Speaking of sugar, these muffins, you think they're a breakfast food, but they have a lot of sugar. It's more like a dessert, right?
And I brought that specifically for you today.
Oh,
but
thank you.
Hoping that you won't
Darn,
eat
I
it.
was going to taste it just
But yeah.
to research.
Don't do it, Shannon.
Okay, so why can't we eat this besides
the
the gluten?
urge.
I know.
So if you think about, if you just kind of as an observer, if you go to a coffee shop in the morning, you see
Right.
people getting their coffee, and then it's just like this lineup of pastries,
Yeah.
bagels, muffins,
Right,
whatever.
croissants, the whole nine.
Yeah, and it's when you consider how much sugar is in a muffin, and it depends on the size and obviously how it's made up. But now we have the wheat, like the bread, and the sugar in something we've led to believe is somewhat healthy to begin our day.
That's a lethal combination.
Yeah, so it's,
gluten and sugar.
Yeah, so by the time you get to work, you're getting this kind of sugar crash and you're not feeling so good, and yeah.
Okay,
Now
so
you
we know
have dairy here.
milk does a body good.
Exactly.
That's what they want us to believe. And there's, I mean, we could talk about this for days. There's a lot of studies that show that dairy isn't as good for humans as we've been led to believe it is. Again, it's very clogging. It's very, there's specific compounds in there. For instance, like the casein protein, which is very difficult for some people to digest. It has lactose, which is a sugar that a lot of humans have difficulty digesting. And
I've heard this can lead to everything from acne to chest congestion.
yeah,
Really?
as can bread. Just to give you, in terms of skin, a lot of people want better looking skin.
Yes.
Sugar and bread are one of the biggest detriments to that because they actually elevate our insulin, and insulin is tied in with various factors that lead to skin outbreaks.
Oh, no more bread for me. I want to know about all the good stuff.
Yeah.
What can we
Yes.
replace this with?
Okay, so here we've got some really nice alternatives, and
Yes.
I don't want people to get scared off by, oh my God, greens and plants and stuff.
No,
'cause
we
this-
love greens here, so keep talking.
Yeah, this stuff is
Yeah.
awesome. I just had a salad yesterday made with at one of the local places in New York, and chopped up kale, some
Yeah.
lettuce, just beautiful. So kale is, I think, one of the most amazing foods. It's probably the highest in terms of nutrient density out of all the greens that we know of.
At Whole Foods, it's one of the superfoods. It ranks 1,000 from 0 to 1,000
Oh, yeah.
on the highest ranking chart. It's right
Wow.
up there. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Kale and
like
spinach.
This is like a multivitamin
Okay.
All right.
in food format. So
And
you
the
can-
berries.
The berries, blackberries. I mean, these are big, juicy blackberries. Amazing. You can put these in a cereal in the morning. You can put them into your smoothies. You can just eat them on the go.
Are these the best type of berries?
You know what? Berries of all kinds are amazing. Like,
Okay.
I tell people, because berries have such high levels of antioxidants and such low levels of sugar, you can pretty much go crazy on them. You
Oh,
really
really?
can't go too far wrong with things like blueberries, blackberries, strawberries. The one thing I would suggest with berries is try to get them organic if possible,
Okay.
because they are sprayed pretty heavily,
Yes.
and you are eating the whole skin. Right?
Got it.
So.
All right. Apples also, they say get apples organic as well if you can.
Yeah, here's just a really simple rule of thumb. If you're eating the whole food, so skin as well as the interior of it, try to get organic.
Okay.
So for like an avocado, we're not going to eat the skin, so that's not as important to go
That's a
organic.
good
All
tip.
right. Is this what, quinoa?
So this is quinoa. This is a really nice alternative to gluten-based grains. So
Okay.
like breads, barley, and rye. So if you have oatmeal does have some contamination with gluten depending on its source. So quinoa is a terrific alternative. You can make it in the same way you do oatmeal. And you can put in some berries right into the kind of the pot with the water and the quinoa. It kind of soaks up all those beautiful juices and sugars. And it just gives it a nice natural sweetness.
Also goes great on a kale salad.
On a kale salad, yeah, you
you
can
go.
steam. You can boil the kale, it kind of puffs up a little bit. You can make a nice quinoa salad with different chopped up veggies. It's terrific.
Okay, that's not milk. What is that?
That's almond milk.
Almond milk.
I love
yes,
almond
yes,
milk.
Yes, me
Yeah.
too.
So really high in vitamin E. And very low in all the stuff that's not so good about dairy. So yeah,
Okay, so
All
just
right.
make the replacement. We'll be good.
and it tastes amazing. It's,
Now, how long do we have to do this to detoxify our bodies? Just continue doing it?
Well, I like to get people thinking about cleansing as something we do on a daily basis by our food choices.
Got
right?
it.
But the reality is that if you want to do something a bit more focused, I think even over the course of a weekend, you can make some amazing progress. So let's say
Really?
Saturday morning, you vow to just kind of clean things up for 2 days. By the time you get back to work or school on Monday, you feel amazing.
Really?
Yeah.
So 48 hours and we can see a difference or
Oh, yeah.
feel a
Oh,
difference.
yeah, absolutely.
But after the 48 hours, don't go back to the bread. It
Well, yeah,
defeats
actually,
the purpose,
you know what?
right?
I would encourage going back to the bread.
Really?
Because then you'll know instantly that, wow, I don't feel too good in my stomach, or I feel tired. And now when you make that association, then it's your choice to remove the bread.
Okay.
And that's really when you're in control.
Great advice.
Right.
Thank
Yeah.
you so much. I'm ready
welcome.
to go green.
All right.
Thank you, Yuri.
You're welcome.
Thanks, and you're watching Arise Entertainment 360.